you want to be in a position where you have your freedom. That's what having physical gold and silver in your possession does. And if you have all of those other things secure and the government says jump, you get to say nope. If you are you were talking about interdependent, that's a good thing. We have become, or what they positioned us for, to be codependent, right? That's not a good thing. In a surveillance system, and that's what the stable coins are. CBDCs, bad word in the US, stable coin, same thing. Doesn't matter. They're the same thing. If the government says jump and you are codependent on the government for everything, so all your wealth is intangible, and you don't know how to grow your own food or anything or water, etc., then you're going to have to do whatever it is that they tell you to do. Or not. Nope, you can't do this. Yep. Oh, you said that. We picked that up on social media. Oh, you're blocked. I mean, look at what happened in Canada, for God's sakes. And here in the US, we don't really look at Canada a whole lot different than we look at ourselves. And when they had that perfectly legal and peaceful trucker strike, boom, cut out of the system. You donated $5 to one of those truckers so they could eat that day, boom, you were cut out of the system. Is that what we want for our children?
A society built on digital financial systems risks losing true autonomy. When wealth exists only electronically, governments can freeze or restrict it instantly, just like Canada's trucker protest, where even small donors lost access to their accounts. Whether labeled stablecoins or CBDCs, these digital forms share one trait: surveillance and control. Physical gold and silver offer real independence because they exist outside the digital system. Those who hold tangible assets can refuse forced compliance. Without the ability to stand apart, citizens become dependent on state-controlled structures, exactly what today's financial architecture is designed to create.
To your point, that is why we have to get redeemable gold back in the system. Because, look, back in the day when we had that, and if I didn't like what the government or the central bank was doing, I could walk in with this and walk out with this, and that forced fiscal responsibility. The public, had the power, which frankly, in the US Constitution, it was supposed to be the individual at the head, and then the states were supposed to support the individual's rights, and then the federal government was supposed to support the states that was supposed to support the individual's right. That's all been flip-flopped. And it's all about the federal government and the growth and the power that they have over an individual's life. We have to take our power back. And the only way that we can do that is by having a sound money system where you are fairly paid. They cannot inflate. Because, when they set this system up, if people ever took the time to go in and read the documentations when they're setting things up, it's public records. Anybody can read it. And what they said, there were a few things that were shocking to me, but this was so shocking. Number one, governments wanted to be able to tax the people without going through legislation so that you didn't know about it. On a gold and silver standard, you couldn't do that. On a fiat money standard, it's that inflation tax that used to be a bad word. Inflation used to be a bad word. Now, no, not a bad word. And a debasement trade, awesome. But so governments wanted to do that. Corporations wanted to pay their workers less. But hey, if you're used to getting $20, you're not going to accept 10. However, if inflation makes that $20 spend like 10, and then the rest of that goes up to the top, this big K-shaped recovery, the income and wealth inequality, there you go. Inflation and the fiat money system solved it. And it was corporate debt that were turned into our money, for goodness sake.
Inflation is a hidden tax that quietly drains wealth from the public. Once the gold standard was removed, governments gained the ability to tax without passing laws, simply by printing money. Corporations benefited as well, keeping wages the same while inflation reduced real purchasing power. This engineered dynamic created today's wealth gap, a K-shaped system where asset holders rise and workers fall. Fiat currency makes it possible because most people don't notice inflation's slow erosion. The architects of the system understood that if citizens had to work harder just to stay afloat, they'd have little time left to question monetary policy. And that prediction proved true.
And so really, voila, inflation solved it. And what they actually said when they were putting this system together, if people have to work longer and harder to sustain their current standard of living, they will have less time to pay attention to what we are doing with the monetary system. Do you know how angry I get over that? I mean, goodness gracious, how many times can you be lied to when you do not know the truth?
It's incredible.
Gold, silver, this is honest money. It's simple. It's not complicated. The digital currencies, I mean, this garbage, and, I think it's interesting that they make them all. They have no physical body, but they all make them gold, silver, or platinum, right? So that's about perception management. But when you're looking at this stuff, what does it do? Are you the kind of engineer that can go into all of this source code and determine if what they're doing is truly in your best interest? I'm not. I can tell you right now, I have no clue. Gold and silver, it's simple to understand. It's used in every single sector of the global economy. It's clean. It stores energy. And it can be used over, and well, not silver because it gets used up, but gold can be used over and over an infinite number of times.
Every major currency transition in history has brought chaos, and we're feeling the early tremors again. From the 1971 end of the gold standard to today's push for digital money, each shift has reshaped entire societies. Governments appear to be preparing for the next transition by inflating debt to unsustainable levels. The threat isn't only economic, it's generational. Many worry the coming monetary system could centralize control even further unless sound money principles return. Gold and silver remain decentralized stores of value trusted for thousands of years, offering stability in a world bracing for its next reset.
That's pretty supply and demand, easy peasy understanding. The system that we're in right now, no, it is not easy to understand. And they know that most people do not understand inflation, so they can get away with it.
Yeah.
In the 70s, I was there when Nixon took us fully off the gold standard. And I can tell you, I remember the inflation, and I remember all the chaos around that transition. And I remember the energy, and I'm feeling the same thing. We are transitioning, and I hope people see that already. And they've already put in that next piece to take us to the big enough crisis to justify the shift, which will not be, if we don't do something about it, it will not be in our best interest. And I don't care about me, I'm old. We were talking about that earlier, right?